I guess when I'm asked what the New Times movie is, the best way to describe it is kind of in a metaphor. As a student of film, I've been a big fan of the spaghetti westerns, the so-called spaghetti westerns. Things like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, for a few dollars more. Here's the interesting thing, and I think you'll agree. The spaghetti westerns have no spaghetti in them. Now, I've studied these films. I've watched them over and over. No one says spaghetti. No one eats spaghetti. There's not even any pasta at all in there. No elbow macaroni, no mostaccioli, nothing that even could be possibly mistaken for spaghetti, like the linguine or the injera pasta. And so, and here's the metaphor, New Times movie is basically like a haggis mystery. Haggis being the traditional Scottish dish in which you butcher a sheep, and then the only things left that people don't want to eat, like the lungs and the intestines, you mince it up, you put some onions in there, and you sew it into the cow's stomach, you see, and then you boil it. Now, no one eats haggis in the New Times movie, but that kind of sums up what it is, and I think you'll agree. Please, don't miss it. It's going to be great.
Well, I can't even talk, for one thing. I lost my voice from all the shouting I've been doing, and this has been the hardest thing I've ever done. I thought that it was a natural progression for New Times. I thought that, we put out a great paper every week, and the next logical step was to make a feature-length movie. And obviously I would direct, and it's just been a nightmare. It was probably the worst decision I ever made. Working with the New Times staff as writers is fine. Working with the New Times staff as actors is, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's like herding cats. It's like herding drunk, mentally deficient cats. It's completely shot my nervous system. And bringing in all the extras. And there's just so much they don't tell you when you want to make a movie. You think you just get a camera, you tell some people what to say, you tell them where to go, and you're done. But you have to worry about the special effects budget, all the blue screening that we had to do. We had to worry about the choreography, to hire the choreographer to work all the choreography for the dancers, all the matching sequins, the costumes.
Vodka, prune juice, monkey porn, scotch, sparkling cider.
The elephant wrangler. If you're going to use live elephants in a movie, did you know you had to hire an official union licensed elephant wrangler? I didn't. Nobody told me this. And of course we'd already signed all the papers and gotten everything in motion. And all I can say now is that it's done. The finished product, I have to say, looks fantastic, but it's probably been the death of me.
I think the New Times movie really changed my life. I knew I was a big deal before I was in the movie. I knew I was a big deal, and then when I was working with all of the special effects and everything, I really sort of hit home exactly, what we were doing. This is a good thing. And there was that scene, especially when we had to go to Mordor to get rid of the ring, and I was with the little guy, but he's not actually that little. I mean, he's small, but that was a lot of special effects. It's kind of an industry secret. Working with the blue screening and the CGI, that was really challenging. But I am an actress of that caliber, and I think that when I went to rehab, the first time, that's when it really hit home that, I've made it. I've arrived.
Ow! Sick.
Yeah. When the interns go bad, you must take the heads. That's what the director said, or the editor. It feels nice now because in this movie that we're making for the New Times, not the Nude Times. Not the Nude Times. That was long in the past. This movie we're making for the New Times, I get to reprise my role when I was standing in the forest with my legions of hairy beastmen looking upon the Romans in their puny little metal swords. And my axe was in my hands. And I stood before them and I showed them the intern head. And I said, beer. Yes. In this movie, I get to reprise that role.
Well, in this movie, I play the role of Lester Burning. I'm one of the central stars of the film, and Lester is a cynical, middle-aged, suburban man who's going through kind of an existential angst, really. And he's a man who just isn't happy with his life. He's found himself in a place where nothing has any real meaning. But there is a certain amount of beauty in this film, and I want to stress that. It may sound depressing, but man makes changes in his life. The one that sticks with me is that he quits his job. That's a beautiful thing. He quits his job. When I first got the script, there was a lot of there were subplots in it. There were things about his daughter and his wife and a neighbor next door, and those were all interesting, but I didn't think they had the same kind of emotional resonance as a man quitting his job that he just hates. Mid-level management job that's just soul-sucking and depressing. Yeah, he quits it. There's real beauty in that.
So originally, the monster, which represents an insect, kind of a praying mantis, was intended to represent a Kafkaesque disconnect between reality and the world as it should be. What we didn't realize until the film was complete was that the monster's mindless destruction ultimately served as a contrast for humanity's beauty, that is, humanity's more heroic qualities. I mean, if you really think about it, you can't have a monster without something to compare it to. Otherwise, how is it a monster? How's it other? And I think that watching these teenagers and young adults who would ultimately be quite annoying and maybe a little overindulged, desperate to preserve these completely average human lives, becomes strangely beautiful. Films can show you some beautiful things, you know?
I wish I knew how to quit you.
But I never thought that our monster would throw into stark relief all that is beautiful about our society. Why would we want to make that film, you know? But we did.
Filming in the Arctic, oh my god, it was fucking hell. It was so cold. It was so cold. You have to wear like this huge marshmallow suit. Not flattering at all. Like, what the heck? It's giant and red. It's so stupid. You look like a giant clown. And you're walking around, freezing cold. There's nothing there. I mean, it's really beautiful and all for like 5 minutes. And then you're like, what the hell is this cold? And then the penguins come. Those little tuxedo bastards. And you think, oh, penguins, cute, adorable. They're only out this tall. One of them freaking bit me. Like, razor sharp beak. It got through my marshmallow suit. Like, I have a scar. Like, I would totally show you. It's like right on my knee. Like, it bled. I had to get stitches. Like, I'm vegetarian, but if you like gave me a penguin, I would totally eat it right now.
There's so much beauty in this world.